Hello and welcome to another video. Okay, today we're going to do a video that I love to watch. I love watching people talk about new releases and what they're excited for just because I feel like it puts so many new books on my radar and I'm not great at like staying on track of what's coming out. I feel like I'm a little bit tuned out sometimes and just kind of reading whatever I want to read, but I had so much fun looking up books that were coming out this year that look interesting. To be fair, a lot of them I did judge the book by its cover. That's kind of how I choose most of the things that I pick up, honestly. Sorry to say. I have quite a few books here that I think sound very interesting, and hopefully they sound interesting to you too. This is going to be definitely a casual video. That's why I'm wearing a full face makeup and lip gloss. Just kidding. I mean, you can be casual, but it doesn't mean you have to not slay. But yeah, I'm just going to read off a few of the books that I found that I thought were interesting. And yeah, let's just get into it. Starting off the first one, actually, I feel like I should know when these come out. That was a mistake on my part. Let me look. Actually, okay, here's what we're going to do because I don't know all the information right off the bat I just have the descriptions and some of the covers. So what I'm going to try to do, which is going to be really super fun for me when I'm editing, is I'll put the cover if there is one, and then I'll try to put the release date as well, maybe any other information that might be pertinent. Okay, and the first one we have here is The Red Winter by Cameron Sullivan. The description is in 1785, Professor Sebastian Gray receives the news he fears most. The terrible beast of Gwenveden has returned, and the French countryside runs red in its wake. Sebastian knows the beast, a monster slayer with centuries of experience. He joined the hunt for the creature 20 years ago and watched it slaughter its way through a long and bloody winter. Even with the help of his indwelling demon, Sarmodal, who takes payment in living hearts, it nearly cost him his life to bring the monster down. Okay. I did read most of these descriptions already, like a little ways through, not like totally. I did not. I missed the part where he has his own demon. What a convenient thing to have on hand, especially when you're hunting down the beast of Gavadin. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it, but that is really interesting. I feel like this is gonna be like I feel like it's already giving me like Robert Eggers vibes. Like, don't let that man get his hands on this book because we will have a movie within the year, which actually it's great. I would love that. But yeah, it's giving folklore, horror. It's giving like the Vivitch, the werewolf, his new one. But I'm very intrigued by that. Love this cover. Spooky, fun, love it. The next book we have is The Bone Door by Frances White, which I feel like I know that name. I could be lying. I don't know. I'll have to look later. But okay, this description says, how far will you go to open the bone door? When Hop awakens in an ancient labyrinth, he has no memory of his life or how he got here. He does not recognize the mysterious girl trapped with him, and he certainly cannot identify the shadowy figure stalking him, whispering terrible things. But there is one thing he is certain of: he must escape. I love a labyrinth or a spooky maze. I feel like that is such a good setting for a spooky book. I mean, The Shining, they really showed us what it could be. I and also that scene in Saltburn. In Saltburn, just spooky. I feel like mazes and labyrinths, perfect spooky setting. Also, this cover has a little bunny on it, and I love a bunny on a cover and just a bunny in general. So I really like that, and I like the idea that he's like trapped there with someone else. Like, who is that woman? I guess we'll find out. Okay, this next one sounds so interesting, and I've heard nothing about this. Well, obviously, I haven't read much about most of these, I would say. I am so intrigued by this one. First of all, the cover is so beautiful. Sorry, let me get into it. It's called The Girl with a Thousand Faces by Sunyi Dean. I love this cover. So pretty. The colors. I love the like waves. Oh, so pretty. Okay. This description is when Mercy Chan washed up on the shores of Hong Kong with no family, no money, and no memories. The only place she could find refuge in was the infamous ghost-infested slum of Kowloon walled city. Since then, she has rebuilt her life, working for the local triad as a ghost talker and dealing with the angry and bitter spirits who haunt the district. The filthy gutters and cramped alleyways of Kowloon now feel like home, but the past Mercy can't remember won't let her go. An unusually powerful ghost has infested Kowloon's waterways, drowning innocents and threatening the district. It claims to know Mercy and secrets from her past that are best left forgotten. Doesn't that sound so good? I love that premise. I think that is so interesting. Like, I love that she's a ghost talker. This feels like I have to say that one of my favorite shows growing up was Ghost Whisperer, so that makes a lot of sense. I just think this is really interesting, and I love the idea. Also, another book with them waking up with no memories. I sense a theme. Next is A Forest Darkly by A.G. Slatter. Deep in the forest lives Marab, the witch, quietly battling her demons. One evening, a young woman arrives at her door, pursued by godhounds who wish to destroy all those practicing magic, and Marab's solitary existence is disrupted. Together, they forge a cure for their isolation with heartbreaking consequences. Meanwhile, in the local village, children begin to disappear, sinister offings appear on Marab's doorsteps, and a dark power pursues her through the trees. This sounds really interesting. I feel like it kind of reminds me of something. I don't really know what it's also it's called a bewitching, like they claim it's a bewitching gothic, which I love that, and a haunting gripping tale. I'm intrigued. I think I'll read almost anything about witches. I love witch books. I love magic books. I love that this is like set in a little village and the covers are giving very much like Little Red Riding Hood to me. I love that concept. I love this gnarly, nasty tree. Oh, and there's skulls in the vines or in the roots. Interesting. I'm into it. We've got a thriller. We love a thriller around here. This is The Girls Before by Kate Alice Marshall, which I feel like I have read something from them before. The description is there is a girl in a basement. The door has stopped opening. The light is gone. Audrey is a s- is an nope. Audrey is a search and rescue expert who never stopped looking for her ex-best friend. Oh, ex-best friend. For her ex-best friend Janie, who disappeared when they were teenagers. Janie used to love the local legend of a forest witch. Listen, I love a witch who saves girls from bad men. But Audrey knows now that for everyone saved, there's always another one lost. When she stumbles upon evidence in the forest that a teenage runaway might have actually been kidnapped from land belonging to the town's most prominent family, she will have to dig through decades of secrets to reveal the biggest one of all, what happened to the girls before. I love a I don't know why. I love like a coming back to a story, a reopening of a case. I love stories where like someone disappeared 10 years ago, 10 years later, the same thing happens, same circumstances. I don't know why. I think those are very like it's just interesting. I think I like the pattern of it all. This one sounds really interesting. The To me, the line that's like Janie used to love the local legend of a forest witch who saves girl from Batman kind of feels like a throwaway line. I don't think that's gonna be like witches are gonna be a big plot in this, obviously, because it seems just like a contemporary thriller. But I'm still very intrigued by this. I think it'll be very interesting. And like I said, love a thriller. Next, we have Abby Jimenez, her new book, and I love Abby Jimenez. I will say I did not read her other latest book just because I was hearing very mixed reviews on that. And I don't know. I love her, but I'm scared. I don't want to not love her. So I kind of maybe am putting that off. I think I'll probably end up reading it. I'm just, for now, I'm scared. But okay, her new one is called The Night We Met. Love this cover. So cute. Like the sunset. And is that a little It's a cat, right? Oh, I love that. Or wait, no, it's a Yorkie. It says it right there. Okay. Anyways, in everyone's life there's a split section. No. In everyone's life there's a split section. No. In everyone's life, there's a split second decision that can change everything. For Larissa, it came when choosing who to ride home with after a concert. That night, she had no idea she'd meet the perfect man. She and Chris are great friends, co parenting a slightly unhinged rescue Yorkie, sharing their favorite books, and judging bread. Pumpernickel for the win. Crazy. For the first time amid all her side hustles to scrape by, things finally feel easy. But she didn't choose Chris to drive her home all those months ago. She went with his best friend, and he became her boyfriend. All Chris wants is for Alyssa to be happy. Standing by on the sidelines is slowly killing him, but making a move would destroy someone else. Um, mm, 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 mm. Yeah. Interesting. I am not a huge fan of Friends to Lovers. I just am never as intrigued by them as I am like first time meeting kind of vibes. Um, and this, I don't know, like this again doesn't really sound like something that would be up my alley, to be so honest. But again, like I love Abby Jimenez, so I am curious. The cover's really cute. I think I'll wait to see what people say about it when it comes out and maybe decide. I don't know. I feel bad. Love you, girl. Love you, Abby. Okay, the next one sounds so interesting. I feel like I've been saying that for all of them, but they really do all sound so interesting. I feel like I'm so excited for the new releases this year. But this is called The Kingdom Will Not Kill Me. Ah, love. When Maggie wakes up cold, filthy, and naked in a gutter, it doesn't take her long to recognize Caer Torin, a city she knows intimately from the pages of her famously unfinished dark fantasy series she's been obsessively reading and rereading while waiting for years for the final novel. Her only tools for navigating the gritty world of rival warlords, magic, and mayhem, her encyclopedic knowledge of the plot, the setting, and the characters' ambitions and fates. While she quickly discovers she cannot be killed, the same cannot be said for the living, breathing characters she's coming to love. I love this. I feel like I've always been intrigued by books that are like stories within a story, but I haven't read that many. I don't know why. I know there's a few out there that I've like kind of been intrigued by the past that I feel like maybe the reviews weren't that great. So this I'm super excited because not only is it a story within a story, but it's a fantasy. How many people, including me, have been like I would love to join the little fantasy crew of characters from my favorite book. Me girl, sign me up. I'm just so okay. I'm very excited for this. I will be picking this up for sure. I feel like I've heard a decent amount about this one, or I've seen like a few other people talking about this one already. This is Vigil by George Saunders, and it is the description is not for the first time. Jill Doll Blaine finds herself hurtling towards Earth, reconstituting as she falls right down to her favorite black pumps. She plummets, okay, love that. She plummets towards her newest charge, yet another soul she must usher into the afterlife, and lands headfirst in the circular drive of his ornate mansion. She has performed this sacred duty 343 times since her own death. Her charges, as a rule, have been greatly comforted in in their final moments, but this charge she soon discovers isn't like the others. The powerful KJ Boone will not be consoled because he has nothing to regret. He lived a big, bold, epic life, and the world is better for it, isn't it? I love a unique plot line. Like I love something that I've never, this is I can say this is not a storyline that I've ever followed before, and that excites me because I feel like sometimes I get very comfortable with my reading, and I feel like sometimes I read the same book over and over again in terms of just like the tropes and stuff. So I that is definitely a goal for me this year is to break out of my comfort zone and try even just tropes within the same genre that I do like and try different ones. So I think this will be really interesting. I don't know what this is like labeled as, if this is thriller, horror, what, but I'm intrigued. Okay, we have to talk about this one. We have to talk about this one. I'm so excited for The Knave and the Moon. This is the second book to The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig, which was my top read of 2025. I absolutely loved it. I'm so excited for this one. The cover just was released a few weeks ago, days ago. And I'm so excited. Okay, I'll read you the description. Sure. Aisling Castle is in ruins. Roderick Mendicius, I think is how you say it, Bartholomew, and Maud Bauer are rumored to be dead, and the king has taken Sybil Delling as his bride to show off their union and solidify his power over Trom. Benji proposes a series of tournaments throughout the hamlets. Captive and drugged, Sybil remains determined to vanquish him as she once did the omens, even if she destroys the kingdom's faith and herself in the process. But then a mysterious knave rises to the who could it be? Okay. Rises to the top of the tournament list, a man with no name and no memory who may just be Sybil's ticket to undoing Benji's power. Oh, is it not? I thought it was. Okay. Anyways, for in a land where stories repeat themselves, where a king can prove as cruel as God, the only way to truly destroy the Stonewater Kingdom's faith is to save it. Cut the cameras. Cut the cameras right now. I am so excited for this. I love Rachel Gillig. She is my true queen. I loved the first one. I loved the atmosphere. I loved the plot. I loved the scene, like all the like actiony scenes where they're like fighting the omens, and then the ending was literally heartbreaking. The like even though I wouldn't call this a romantasy, it's definitely a fantasy with romance elements. The romance was so good. Everything about that book was so good. I am like, as soon as this book comes out, I will be running my little butt over to the bookstore and getting it, and no one speak to me for the next 48 hours while I read it because I'm so excited. Okay, this one sounds cute, but I'm just as I'm reading the description again, I'm realizing it's YA, which is usually fine. Um, but sometimes it's not my favorite. Obviously, I'm a grown woman at this point, so it's not for me, but I do still enjoy reading some of it. But this is after just, oh, sorry. Let me tell you the name actually. This is The Fairway Inn by Sarah Beth Durst. And the mini description is after a devastating heartbreak, a teen girl decides to spend her summer helping her eccentric great aunt manage her quaint Vermont inn. But the fixer upper is hiding a magical secret in this cozy and irresistible new YA fantasy. So this is the author of The Spell Shop, which I know was super popular. I think that is also one I might have on like my TBR maybe. Um, I think this sounds cute, and I do want to get into a few more like cozy fantasies just because I feel like there's always room for a nice cozy light read amongst all the like high fantasy and insane thriller and gruesome horror that I read. Sometimes I need one where all they're doing is baking and doing magic. The next book I have is Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy, which I have not read her memoir yet. The I'm Glad My Mom Died. It is on my TBR. I feel like I've heard such good things about that, so I do want to read that. But I've just heard so much good things about that that I feel like this is also going to be really good. And I'm interested because I think this is a fiction book. So I think that'll be like an interesting switch from her memoir. And I hope that it's super successful because she just seems like a very cool person. But this, I think, is about a teacher-student relationship, which is also not always my cup of tea, but I'm intrigued enough to probably pick it up eventually. The next one I have is Weaving Shaw by Heba Wasidi. This I feel like the description for me could really go two ways. Like it could be a really good, interesting, like gothic fantasy, or it could be not my vibe at all. So I guess we'll see. I'll give you the short description. It says in this debut gothic fantasy, a young woman who can see the dead strikes a deal with the magnetic and dangerous Saint of Silence, a purveyor of dark secrets, to save her brother's life. This is a first book in a trilogy. So, I mean, I'm intrigued, but like I said, I feel like it could go either way. I do like the cover, I think. I don't know if I do. I kind of like it. I like elements of it. But anyways, I think this will be interesting, and this is a book I'll definitely wait to see what people think and how people react to. Next one is definitely a cover choice as well, but you cannot blame me because this is Messenger Cat Cafe by Nagi Shimeno. Shimeno? Shimeno. Look at this cover. Is this not the cutest thing you have ever seen? Look at his little face. I cannot. And this is, I feel like there has been such an uptick in like, it- I think Japanese, like Asian cafe books. And I'm so intrigued by so many of them. There's a few that I was looking at the other day, and they all have a very cozy vibe. But I do kind of feel like this, like maybe at least to my knowledge, I feel like this phenomenon of like this little cat cafe, little cafe magical cafe situation is really picked up after, before the coffee gets cold. And I guess I think people saw the success of that, maybe wanted to be part of that, which I don't blame, but this just sounds really cute. After a long life with a loving human family, tabby cat Futa has passed into the afterlife, but he is not as far from his owner Matura as it seems. Eager to see Matura again, Fatua interviews for a position at Cafe Point Pont, a cafe that exists in the liminal space between the two worlds. Known for its unique message delivery system, customers leave requests with the name of the person they wish to meet, and a messenger cat is assigned to arrange the meeting. If Yuta doesn't maintain plausible deniability, he could cause panic amongst the living, or worse, he could upset the balance of the universe itself. It is a weighty task for an old tabby cat, but Futa is up for the challenge. After all, the job offers a special reward, the right to see Matura, and he'll do anything to reunite with his family. Oh my god. Oh, that literally just made me cry. It just sounds so cute. I don't know. I don't know how high on my like list this is to actually read, but maybe if I'm really in the mood for like, something really sweet and cozy. Okay, this next one I think might win award for my favorite cover. I love a cover like this that looks like a painting. I think they're so beautiful. This is Honeysuckle by Bar Friedman Tell. And ugh, I just love covers like this. It just stunning works of art. And this premise sounds so interesting. This is once upon a time on the edge between meadow and forest, there was a lonely child with only his older sister for company. In exchange for being left in peace, his sister made him a playmate day, a girl woven from flowers and words, and for the first time, the boy Rory had a friend. Rory couldn't be happier until he learns that Day is a short lived creature. At the end of each season, she must be woven back together or fall gruesomely apart. As Rory and Day grow older and the line between friendship and romance begin to blur, Rory becomes desperate to break the cycle of bloom and decay. But the farther Rory pushes his research and experiments to lengthen Day's existence, the more Day begins to wonder just how much control she really has over her own life. And it says this is a loose reimagining of the story of Bla- Blodawud from Welsh mythology. Honeysuckle is entrancing, inventive, and unsettling debut. I love an unsettling debut. I just feel like that sounds so interesting, and again, like I do love a folklore, like fairy tale horror. Like I just find them so interesting and like poetic. I think when they're done right, they're so amazing. So I'm very excited to pick that one up, and maybe I'll even pick up a physical copy because it's so pretty. Okay, the next book we have is Wolfworm by T. Kingfisher, which I am determined to like a T. Kingfisher book because every book that I pick up by them or I find out is by them sounds so interesting, sounds totally up my alley. Like, sounds like a book I would give 5 stars to, and I think I've picked up maybe just one, but I think it's two, and I did not like either of them. I like highly disliked both of them. So so disappointing, but I'm going to continue picking them up because one, I'm so intrigued by their descriptions of the books, and also two, so many people like this author that I just feel like I have to be the problem. Like it's not them, it's me. This is another gothic, woodsy story from them, and the description is I saw the devil in these woods. Sonia Williams is a talented scientific illustrator, but she's only able to follow her dreams because of her father's reputation as a renowned scientist. Such is the lot in life for a woman in science in 1899, and after his death, she is left without work, prospects, or hope. So when the reclusive Dr. Halder offers her a position illustrating his vast collection of insects, Sonia jumps at the chance to move to his North Carolina manor house and put her talents to use. Once there, though, she encounters dark happenings in the Carolina woods and even darker questions come to light, like what happened to her predecessor, why are animals acting so strangely, and what is behind the peculiar local whispers about blood thieves. Like that just sounds absolutely like something I would like. So I'm gonna really have to lock in because I really want to like T Kingfisher. This will be the year. This will be the year of T Kingfisher for me. This one sounds super interesting as well. This is How to Survive in the Woods by Kat Rosenfield. It is a thriller. Yeah, thriller. And this is raised by doomsday prepper and hardened by the startup world. Emma Sharp has learned how to endure, especially in her marriage. When Emma forms an unexpected bond with Logan's former girlfriend, the two women form a plan to help Emma take her life back. Destination: the punishing final stretch of the Appalachian Trail known as the 100-Mile Wilderness. I love anything about Appalachia, so interesting. As the three venture deeper into Maine's backcountry, desire and dread curdle into something unpredictable, dark, and deadly. I'm just so intrigued by the fact that it's her and his ex-girlfriend plotting to what sounds like maybe him in during like a hike. Like, okay, I feel like there must be a better way, but what do I know? This next one is The Caretaker by Marcus Cleaware. And this is again another thriller. This is May. This description goes as Macy Mullins can't say why the job posting grabbed her attention. It had the pull of a fisherman's lure, barbed, hooked, and all, vaguely ominous. But after an endless string of failed job interviews, she's not exactly in the position to be picky. She has rent to pay, groceries to buy, and a younger sister to provide for. Because besides, it's only 3 days, cooped up in a stranger's house, surrounded by Oregon coast wilderness. What starts as a peculiar what starts as a peculiar side gig soon becomes a waking nightmare. An incomprehensible evil may dwell on this property, and Macy Mullins might just be the only thing standing between it and the rest of humanity. And then it says, follow the rights, follow the rights, follow over the rights, like whatever. And then it's got like dash 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 slash dot 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 slash dash 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 dot dot dot. What is that about? I'm intrigued. This is a fun cover too. Interesting. It also kind of reminds me of the movie The Watchers a little bit, but maybe in the book. It's also a book. But maybe that's just the cover and the fact that it's in the woods. Next one we have is The Library After Dark by Andy Pelego. I do love this cover. I love like a little frame, and I feel like a framed like something, like some kind of frame on a cover is part of the buzzword challenge, like one of the buzzword challenges this year, but I could be wrong. Erica Stokes is finally settled. She lives in a tiny New York apartment, works as a bookseller. I love books about books at a local shop, and has even taken a leap of faith and love by indulging her attraction to bookstore regular Jasper, and he seems to already know her so well. As a Valentine's Day surprise, Jasper gets the two of them tickets to an exclusive after dark tour of the Dedulous Library, the grandiose establishment of fame for its immersive genre based reading rooms and, more notoriously, its rumored hauntings. But when the automatic door entry malfunctions and Arya, Jasper, and the five other people in their tour group become trapped in the library, they are forced to venture through the storied rooms and hidden passageways of Dedulous in search of escape. Then the group learns there's a murderer in their midst. I think this is going to be a really fun, cozy mystery, like nothing too crazy. Definitely giving me like Agatha Christie vibes as well. Like, I feel like whenever there's like a group of strangers like put together and there's like a murderer about, I'm kind of instantly think of her. So this is going to be a really fun one to cozy up with. The last book I have on my list of books that I'm interested in this year is The Temptation of a Charlotte North by Carmilla Bruce. I'll give you the little short description they have here. A rebellious young woman desperate to escape her predetermined life, a handsome young priest trapped in an unhappy marriage, a practical school teacher who values truth above all. When a sinister spirit invades an isolated community, three lives will be forever altered in this dark gothic fantasy from the acclaimed author of At the Bottom of the Garden. I have not read At the Bottom of the Garden. I don't think I've ever heard of this author, but this sounds so interesting, and I cannot say no to a dark gothic fantasy. And I really like the font on this cover. It's reminding me of the font I use on my title cards, which I think is Kind of funny. They got that from me, actually. Okay, so those are all the books that I found interesting that are coming out in 2026. Hopefully, I will be able to pick up a few of these this year because these plots are so intriguing to me. And now I feel like I have to get to the bottom of like 5 different mysteries and 3 fantasy worlds. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching and I hope you go out and find a few of these yourself. And if you do, let me know how you like them. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.